Hello and welcome to the GetHelp 4.2 Enhancements webcast, everybody. There are quite a few new features to get to talk about. I'm super excited, so let's go ahead and dive right in. You will see on the agenda today that we have in-application notifications. You have the capability to print directly from a ticket. With ticket templates, you have the ability to allow field requirements to be set at the template level now, as well as some service hours for SLA calculations and email notifications for those SLAs. Within the all tickets grid, there is some new pagination updates. And then we'll close out with time tracking, where you're able to actually report on time entered by technicians over a period of time. All right, let's go ahead and dive right in. There we go. All right, everybody, I am on a training site, just to keep that in mind. Now, the first item that I did want to talk to you about today is in-application notifications. This is where an admin or a technician can quickly view notifications throughout the application by selecting the bell icon, which you'll now see is in the upper right-hand corner of your screen here. Now, these notifications are just a quick way for an individual to come in, maybe first thing in the morning, and they just want to see kind of some potential items that they need to take action on. They'll be able to come here and click on the bell, and there will be a list of items that of several reasons. One would be if a ticket has been assigned to them, which you see here, ticket 14 has been assigned to you. Another scenario where a notification will be displayed is when a comment is added to a ticket assigned to you. Now, with that, do note that if there's multiple comments and for the same tickets and you click on one of them, it will actually clear out the remainder. I appreciate that just for kind of efficiency, so I don't have to come in here and address every single one of them when it will take me directly to that one ticket. The other is when the status of a ticket is changed on that you have created. So let me say that one more time. When the status of a ticket that you have created has been changed, so maybe somebody else has changed that status, you will get a notification, and that just ensures that you are in the know on all those tickets that you have created. Now, all of these notifications will live within this box until they are deleted. The only kind of caveat to that is they will only be here for up to 4 weeks. The thought process is this list could become quite long, and also many of them may not become relatable after a period of time. Definitely after 4 weeks, you probably have quite a few in there that are already even to the point of close, right? So they've all been completed and so forth. So I appreciate that to kind of, again, help just ensuring that this stays cleaned up. Now, I can just say delete all if it turns out I haven't been coming into my notifications for a period of time. I can say delete all, they'll all be removed. I can also just click on the little round black circle with the X to also delete them. Now, if I do want to actually dive a little bit deeper, I can click on one of the notifications, and it's going to take me directly to the ticket that it is associated with. So you see right there, I am directly in my ticket and I can take action as I need to with this specific one. Now, something else you'll notice is I no longer have my little red visible badge that tells me that I have any notifications. If I click on it, it will just say you do not have any notifications available at this time. So pretty straightforward. A couple of items to also mention, though, are for admins under the admin settings. Previously, the first option that you had in your settings was email notifications. Well, now that we have application notifications, this field has been altered or updated to be called notifications. Now, with that, please note that if you select any of the notifications for service technicians that specify notify technician when a ticket is assigned to them or a comment, the application notifications are also tied to this. Now, Areas where they are not is going to be service groups, and it will tell you does not apply to desktop notifications and user portal as well. So at this time, it does not relate to these. It will only relate to the technicians and or admins. If we have either checked, they will also receive that notification here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and continue on with the next feature, which is print tickets. This is definitely going to be a favorite, I know. And so I'm going to go ahead and just dive right in to a ticket. So this allows for the functionality to print an individual ticket. Now it will include details of the ticket. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like. So when I've selected a ticket, I'm here. You'll notice within the details kind of panel area, there is in the upper right-hand corner, this option for a open print preview. It kind of looks like a little printer. Here's a piece of paper. So I'm going to select that. When it opens, it gives me a great view of what will be included in this ticket as it is printed. And it does a really great job of including details as well as custom fields and even location information. So you'll see my ticket details here, has my ticket number, and here is that summary, my contact information, location, and my custom fields here. Of course, even if there's a device that is also associated, my device information and description. So it's going to be a great opportunity to quickly print, can print to a PDF, of course, as well as print it on a printer to maybe hand over to somebody that's going to be able to go and take action on that specific ticket. All right, I'm going to cancel that. And something else I actually really appreciate is it opens up in another tab here. So it does not detour me away from the ticket that I was originally on. Wonderful. All right, everybody. So the next feature that we will be discussing is ticket templates and how you're able to allow field requirements to be set at the template level. Just as a recap and to make sure everybody's aware, I'm going to actually start first with those required field pieces. So I'm going to go to admin. So this is an admin kind of piece. And I'm going to go to field management and all fields. So once I'm in field management, if I scroll below the custom fields, or I can even minimize, and I continue down, you'll see that there are some opportunities for me to edit specific fields. So I can do it for room, for site, and tag number. So what I can do for each one of these is I can go into the actual field. So I'm going to say edit. And I can make the decision if I want this field always required or not. And actually for a lot of you, I think one that you really feel that needs to be required a lot of times is that site, right? So let's go ahead and go in here and say edit. And I want my site to always be required on any template that has my, well, just on any template, right? So I'll say update. All right, successful. I love that. So then I've only updated one. I'm gonna leave the other two as not required. Now let's go and go to admin, field management, and our ticket templates. Now I do have a work order ticket template right here. So let's dive into this one first. I'm gonna say edit form. Now, something that you will notice is there is kind of some new pieces under my visible service desk fields. What you will see is I have my tag number and my room right here, as well as my site. Now, site, if you remember, I did make required. So this looks the same as what we've seen previously for those kind of default required fields, right? I do not have an opportunity to make any adjustments because at the field level, I've already designated that the site is required no matter what ticket template it is on. But if you notice right below it, now tag number and room were not required fields prior to this release. But I did have the capability at the field level, which again would mean that every single ticket template that I applied these two fields to would also make those fields required. But because I did not check required, I have the capability at each ticket template level to make that designation. So tag number, do I want this required on this specific on work orders. Well, maybe my work orders are also for requests for furniture, let's say, and they aren't tagged. I probably don't want this required then, because if they don't have a tag, the individuals won't be able to submit it, and I'll just get more calls and emails and so forth. So instead, though, I'm thinking about it, and it's like, well, even if it is for a request for some furniture, let's say, I need to know what room they want this item delivered to. So I actually have decided I'm going to make my room required for this specific ticket template, which is my work orders, but not my tag number. So I'm going to go ahead and say update. Now, just really quickly, I'm going to show you how this kind of functions, where you do not have to have the same for every ticket template. So this is our default template. So I can definitely update it for what makes sense for my district. So for this one, let's say that I decided it does not need room. So I could actually X out, and I'm going to put it as in a note, a field that is not a part of the specific ticket template. Now I can't remove site, of course, because I had made it required. And for this one, tag number may come into play. So yes, I'm going to leave it. So I can actually say update. All right, so now let's go see what that looks like. Let me go to I'm just going to create a new ticket. And I'm going to go ahead and choose first, application error. Now, right away, you will see here I have my summary, my priority, tag number, which is not required. And then I have my site here, which is required. That's fantastic. So now really quickly, bear with me, everyone. I apologize here. Let me go look at my ticket templates. And I did hardware for that one. Apologize for that. So now if I choose my hardware, I have my site, which is of course required, tag number not required, and I have my room here and it is required. So I got to make the decision on which of these to be added to a specific ticket template and those that are not. And I know for a lot of you, this is going to be the tag number is really a big one, right? Some districts are saying, yes, we need the tag number at all times to be required. We need that number. And some of you are saying, well, you know, there are other times that we do not need them for other ticket templates. And so because of that, we need it sometimes required, sometimes not. And so this gives you all a little bit more flexibility as you are kind of customizing the GetHelp application to meet your needs. All right, everybody. So the next item that I did want to discuss with you, this is definitely a big one when we're talking about SLAs, so the service level agreements, and just it's building out on that piece. So I'm going to go ahead and start with service hours for your service level agreements or SLAs. And so where I'll get started again is under admin and service hours. So admins have the capability or opportunity really to establish some available working hours for various kind of groups or segments or even an entire team, and being able to set their hours that they are available to perform services. The reason why this is important is it actually ensures calculations for your SLAs. So kind of the responses, that first response, as well as those resolution times are being accurately accounted for. Otherwise, if you potentially had some individuals that had maybe let's just say an 8 to 5 schedule, and then there's some that are like 24/7, and you need to be able to accurately account for those variations in their schedules. So once I come into service hours, there's several things that I can do here. One of the first things that I definitely appreciate is district time zone. So you do have the capability to set the time zone for your specific school district. Sorry about that. So I'm going to click on district time zone. And I just get to specify I am Central Time, but if you wanted to choose Mountain Time, Pacific, you would have the capability right here and just say update. So that is definitely the first part. Now, as we're starting to work through, something that's going to become a little bit more kind of aware, things I'm going to kind of keep mentioning is as I am updating these items, there is potential that it could impact a current ticket or really even a service, an SLA, I apologize. And so just know that anytime you're starting to make updates with your service hours, as well as your email notifications, we're going to cover here shortly, there is potential it's going to impact or affect tickets that are currently open. I always like to make note of that. So when I come in here, I actually have a couple here. You will have a default that you can utilize. You can also create your very own as well here. Very straightforward, name, description, days and hours, or if you want to apply it as a 24/7, which I'll show you what that looks like here in a moment. And you can specify days of the week and then your time frames for each of those days as well. Now below, you can specify specific holidays for your calculation. So that just means that it will actually not apply the SLA if you have a holiday, of course, because that means your employees most likely are not working, right? All right, so I'm actually cancel though. Let's go and take a look at ones that I've already created for us. I have my default, and it even says schedule defined as either business hours or 24/7 with the ability to add holidays. So click edit. I have default service hours. What we just read is a description. Now here I have left days and hours, and I've specified it's Monday through Friday. And these individuals actually will work 1 p.m. to 10 p.m. So they have kind of a different shift. Now, weekends at this time, we do not have any, but if I want to, I could add an additional day or two if I needed to. And then I click on update, and here's that message. It's going to let me know it could impact or affect those open tickets. So yes, I definitely appreciate that. Just as a little pause, let's think about, is this really what we want to do? Now let's take a look at my other service hours set. I have a 24/7 critical requests, no holidays. This is specific for critical requests. Say edit, and right below here, you'll see instead of days and hours, it's 24/7. And so this pretty much is saying that these work hours are 24/7 time frame, and that is how it's being kind of set for this specific SLA. If you notice, these are grayed out for me. Now, if I wanted to, I could apply holidays, but stating that it's 24/7, I actually am not applying any holidays to this one here. And actually make sure I showed you on my other one, I actually had a couple of holidays. Very easy to add those. You just say add holiday. It brings a new field for me to add the name and then that date here. I'm going to X out actually because I already have two. I have Easter coming up and Memorial Day. If at some point it's decided, oh, nope, we're not going to have one of them, we can remove those very easily as well. So go ahead and say update. Just a quick reminder again, all looks good to me. Now, you notice I was able to do quite a bit here. If I wanted to delete one of my SLAs, you see I have an opportunity right along on that row here to delete. It's a little trash can to the far right. The one thing to note with that is you will not be able to actually delete a service hour setting if it is being utilized by an SLA rule, which we're going to go and look at here in just one moment. So I just wanted to make note of that as well. Okay, so next, let's go and dive into those SLA email notifications. So I'm going to select admin, and SLA targets is where you will go next. There is a default SLA target. Initially, when you come in, this is disabled. I've already enabled it for us. I'm going to click on edit. All right, so let's talk about this just a little bit here. So this is where admins can set email notifications for service level agreements. And this is to notify when a ticket is approaching or is in breach of the SLA. And this just really helps aid in the reduction of response as well as resolve times. So as a district is coming in and they are trying to start establishing their SLAs and ensuring that they are being met in the time frame that they kind of specify, that these tickets need to be either responded within or even resolved within, they have that capability. So the first thing that you'll want to do when you come in is you'll have your name, and I'm just gonna, for sake for today, say this is our default. Now you'll need to set those service level targets. So we first have, and actually before I even get started with this piece, there's a great kind of visual that I do want to show you. I'm gonna drag this over real quick. There we go. So this I really appreciate. It kind of describes out the various portions and the terminology when we're talking about the service level agreement targets. So the first one is SLA target. It's a grouping of target types that constitute a service level agreement. And so that's kind of the overall encompassing piece. So target type, and that's going to be the first response within. Okay, so this is going to be the target type. Resolve within would be another target type. And then we have target rule. A service target types a series target types and details in place for a specific condition such as priority level. So what we are looking at is the rule here. So we're specifying which priority level, and then what is the rule associated with that priority level. So for critical, what is my first response within time frame, as well as my resolved? What operational hours have I applied? So that's going to be my rule. And then I have target detail, and that is a threshold or a maximum to meet for a specific target type. So a target detail is going to give me the information as in what level that this target is at. So for this low priority type and my resolve within, I have displayed here 6 days. So that is the detail of the time frame or the max amount of time that has to be met before I do not meet my service level agreement for low priority level items. So I just really appreciate this quick little visual, and the diagram gives me some great details. So I want to kind of go over that before we hop in really quickly to create our own regarding our SLAs. So I'm just going to go through this fairly quickly here. You're going to want to come in and specify the time frame and then type. So is it minutes, hours, days, months? So maybe for me, I'm going to say minutes here because it's very important. For high, maybe I say it needs to have a response within 1 hour. Medium, maybe I say for two hours. So it's still pretty important, but not quite as critical as these other two. And then low, maybe I say 3 hours. So as you see here, it's really dependent on what makes sense for me. Now I can do days. So maybe for low, I set it to someone will receive a first response in 24 hours. So 1 day. It could even be months if you preferred. So I'm gonna go ahead and just stick with hours. Now for my resolve, I'm gonna do something similar. I'm gonna say hours. It needs to be responded within 2 hours. I'm gonna specify also for my high 2 days though. So they need to actually be resolved within 2 days. I'll go ahead and say 4 days here, and then maybe 6 days. Maybe you want 7 here, that's okay, for my low priority levels. Now, if you notice, all of them currently have my 24/7 no holidays. That may not be the case for some of my other ones. So I'm going to actually keep the 24/7 no holidays for my critical tickets. Those are definitely important. We need to have those responded to extremely quickly, and we need them resolved even just as quick. But now for my high, I'm going to go ahead and just say my default service hours as well as my medium and low. If you chose and you felt that, you know what, with my high, you still wanted it for 24/7, you could do so right there. These could be updated at any point. But you remember what I said a moment ago? the one thing to keep in mind is that in changing these and then potentially updating or enabling email, if you already have tickets out there that by updating the operational hours, the first response, or the resolve, there is potential that you will receive a slew of emails for all of those tickets that are technically in breach at this point. It could be in breach for the first response and or for the resolve. So just to keep that in mind, there is potential you're going to get a slew, as well as those that are assigned to those tickets, a slew of email. So if you do need to do it, you may just want to give everybody a heads up or something. All right, great. All right, everybody. So let's now look down under what happens when the time reaches SLA / violates your SLA. So what takes place? Well, you have the capability to add these email notifications, and these are just going to be a great way for the admin to specify. So let's go and get started. Actually, add a notification rule. They can specify, okay, I want an email to go out to the technician who is assigned to a ticket 15 minutes before the SLA expires for, and that could be critical, high, medium, low. So for critical. Now I already have it set where critical, they must respond within 16 minutes. Now the thing to note here is actually the minimum that you can put is 15 minutes for any SLA. If I try to go any lower, say 5 minutes, I will get a message that says that value must be at least 15 minutes. So it may be that I will not put something for first response, or if I'm looking at only 16 minutes, just knowing that it's giving them 1 minute before. And that's a way that you can make sure that if you want for them to be notified right before this specific first response for critical actually goes into breach. So there's some kind of great flexibility that you could have here. If I wanted to say maybe 5 minutes before, I could make this 20. And then that way they would actually 15 minutes before they would get notification of it. So you just have some flexibility here on what you would like to do. Now, if I did say when, everything else is grayed out here as in the timing. So it'll be at 20 minutes if a response has not been sent out for the specific or any action has been taken on this ticket, the technician will receive the email. So if I select when, that's what happened for critical. That may be something you want to go with as well, is at the time of, or you can say before, and actually 15 minutes before this SLA, so that'll be give them a kind of a 5 minute heads up, they will get an email notification. Now for notifications for resolution, add same exact thing here. Now for my critical, I had 2 hours. So here I could say maybe 1 hour. Oops, here we go. I could say an hour, gives them a little bit of time to work on it. Let's see, can I do 1.5? See the increments. Yes, I could say 1.5, just making sure I wasn't going to steer you incorrectly. And so 1.5, and so then they'd have 30 minutes to know that they need to go and take action and start working on the critical ticket. Now, you can also do after, and you can also do your other priorities right here: critical, high, medium, low. Maybe you don't feel the need for a low kind of email reminder, but you definitely want for critical and high. You just have those kind of capabilities to adjust this as you see fit. And then if at some point you decide you do not need one, you just quickly can X out and it will just remove it for you just as quick here. So there you go. I could go in and add another one if I needed to. And let me pull up, let's see here, one more thing about the email notifications, everybody. I apologize. Let me see if I have it to grab for you. Perfect. Okay, so now I want to show you what it looks like when you do receive one of those emails. Let me just minimize some of the stuff for us. There we go. So the first thing you'll see as a subject is it's going to have your ticket number, your subject here. So first response, SLA notification. It's going to tell me when it was due March 9th, 2020, just about 9 p.m. And then below you will see, it'll say, hello, there's been no first response for your ticket. It'll tell you when it's due. It'll give you the summary and the description and additional information. I really appreciate the status, priority, problem type, who submitted this, and who is assigned to it. And so that is just a great detail right here in the email. What I also appreciate is I can actually click on it right here and take me directly to that ticket so that I could quickly take action and start working on it. So overall, all of the email notifications that will come through will look very similar to this. It may say first response, or it may say resolution response, but they will look very similar and give you the opportunity to quickly access those tickets to begin working on them. All right, so that covers the SLA email notifications. Pretty straightforward. The main thing is really just starting with those initial kind of service hours that we first talked about, setting up your service level agreement targets, ensuring that you are ready to enable those email notifications to go out. And actually, if I click on one, there we go. No changes were made, so it was fine. It would, if anything looks to be altered and is going to send out emails, I should receive a pop-up little notification that tells me, just an FYI, this may send out emails for those that potentially are in breach of any targets. And then you can quickly add, remove, update any of your email notifications for your first response as well as your resolution. All right, everybody. So let's go ahead and continue on with the all tickets grid. This is definitely a fun one. So I'm going to go into my top left navigation and select all tickets. Let me zoom out a little here. There we go. All right. So this gives admins as well as technicians the capability to utilize pagination at the bottom of your screen. So this is where on your all tickets at the very bottom left here for everybody, pagination is where you have various pages. So for myself, I definitely have a lot of tickets in my training site. And so I have pages here. So I have the capability to actually specify how many tickets I'd like to see on my page. Previously, it was a bit less of a list, but now I can actually choose up to 100. So I can scroll down and be able to just quickly access those tickets as I need to. You know, maybe I do some filtering. So maybe I want to see only those that are assigned to Stephanie. And then I can see up to 100 tickets that are assigned to me specifically and just quickly take action on those. So definitely a great just kind of ease of use as we continue to build out that all tickets area. All right, everybody, the next item that we have is the time tracking. Now, we've all seen time tracking before. I'm actually just going to go show it really quickly. Promise it won't be too long. But that is where in a ticket, I can actually come right here to time tracked. I click on that little link and I can quickly add my time and I will see it down below any records that I add to a specific ticket. And this is really helpful as you're trying to track technicians' time, maybe specific projects, just really being able to start to hone in on areas that maybe take a little bit longer and you didn't realize that it's kind of taking up some of your time and or your technician's time. So now what we have is that great report. You're going to find it if you go to the upper left-hand corner of your navigation to analytics. Now here next to the title, I select my report. It's going to be kind of to the bottom, total hours entered by technician. And actually, bear with me, everybody. How's that one? I'm going to actually shift over to another application for this. So I'm going to select, there we go, total hours entered by technician. And this just really helps to see, you know, the amount of time spent on those tickets and projects. I really appreciate that. Definitely, even for myself, I'm always like, how much much time am I really spending here? After I select my report, I definitely need to specify my date range. So you can say a specific, maybe, specific time frame, or you can select some kind of canned options of today, yesterday, this week, last week, and so forth. For today for training, I'm just going to say all time, make sure to run it. And right away, I have my list here. So if I scroll down, I have Alex with 52 total hours. I have Hey support, and so forth. So you see here, whoa, my friend Rudy here has got 522 hours. Well, what does that mean, right? There we go. And just to make sure you saw what I did there, if I click in total hours entered, double click, I actually get more detail about Rudy's time. So time entered in minutes, 522, and it's going to tell me the tickets that are associated with this and that total time spent and how it's broke out per ticket. So definitely, I really appreciate that. It just gives you an opportunity to start to dive in a little bit deeper as to where hours are being spent. Maybe there's things to try to figure out some efficiencies, and overall planning out workloads, right? Definitely super excited about it. All right, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and bring up the agenda. It has been a pleasure to dive into all the great new features that have been just released with the GetHelp 4.2 enhancements. We covered some great stuff, as you see on your screen, in application notifications, being able to print directly from a ticket, getting to decide which fields are required or not, and those three fields, right? The ones that are super important, I know, which is tag, site, room, but at the ticket template level. And we talked a bit about service hours for SLA calculations, and then also those email notifications and what that can kind of start to look like as you're building out your SLAs. We got to see how an additional piece kind of added for just usability in the all tickets grid is being able to see up to 100 tickets on that grid. Awesome, I know. And then we finished out with time tracking and just being able to start to report on time entered by your technicians yourselves, even over a period of time, to really get to see how much time is being spent on specific tickets and or projects. I really appreciate each of you, and I hope to see you again on a session. Have a great rest of your day.